Because he missed out on Chanukah and Nisim, he's getting back there is Chanukah and Birkas Kohanim. How is it tick for tack? Is it stam you missed here but you get there? Or intrinsically it's something that is instead? It's good. But it means whatever you missed out here, you're going to get that and more there. What is it? Okay, so let's call that question number one. A basic question number two, a very basic question on the Rashi itself. Was the Korban, you know how the Korban Nisim came about? Who's the one that thought about it? Nisim ben Tsar. Right? That's what Rashi says. Rashi says in last week's in Parshas Nosai. What happened? He had an idea. I want to bring an idea to make these korbanos very deep. And he probably approached all the other Nisim and they said, yeah, we'll join you. He probably also approached Aaron HaKohen. Why not? And Moshe, and they said, yeah. I mean, what happened with the other Nisim? They said, yes. And Moshe Rabbeinu said, let's give a look at Max Gimel. ויקריבו הנשיאים חנוכה מזבח, לאחר שהתנדבו העגלות והבקר לשאת המשכן, נשאם ליבם להתנדב קורבן נשא מזבח. It was their initiative. They had נשיאס הלב. ויקריב נשיאים את קורבנם לפני המלכה, כי לא קיבל משה מידם עד שנאמר לו מפי הגבורה. That's what Rashi says. So meaning, it was a beautiful idea, and the other Nisim joined, and Aaron HaKohen probably decided not to join. He was offered like everybody else was. So why didn't he join? There was a lot of things where it was Shah. The Raman speaks about Ketorius never comes Benadama, Chatas Chitzoni Shenisrefes. There were a lot of things that is if Aaron was a brisker, Shevet Levi, I can understand why he said no. Because there were 2 or 3 things that Rashi says, Hoyraz Shah. So Aaron, you were offered to join, but you decided not to, so why are you so upset that you didn't join? If it was that HaKadosh Baruch Hu initiated it, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, and he called, and he skipped Aaron, okay, I can understand. He feels bad that he was left out. But that's not how it started. It started by the Nisim. They had the initiative. One of them had the initiative, and he offered it to the others, and he for sure offered it also to Aaron HaKohen. Aaron HaKohen, if he wanted to join, he could have. He decided, nein, ich will nicht. Whatever reason was. So why is he so upset? That's called question number 2. Beseder. Lo megin weiter. Question number 3. You see what we said? There's English between the boxes this time. What are you typing that, guys? And good English, if you'll see. Like Ritzini. Okay. Box style, there's a question that Rav Hutner Zatzal asks. בימי מתיסיהו בן חשמונאי גאונו ובניו, כשעבדם אחוזיהו בן ראש הלך לישראל, להשכיחה בתורתך ולהעבירה מחוקי רצונך. How do you cause someone to forget Torah? What do? You press a button and forgets Torah? Well, the Malach does it when you're born. He gives a patch and you forget. How does Reuven cause Shimon to forget Torah?
Because you don't go over it.
He closes the Bater Medrash, you don't let people learn. Right? The Rambam says, Misha Eino Loimed Shocheach. That's what's wrong. Fine. The Yevanim, also we know for a fact, they had a decree to close Bater Medrash. So isn't that all included, to transgress the Ratzon of Hashem? Hashem wants us to learn Torah, and they said no. So there was Keneged Bris Milah, there was Keneged Chodesh, there was Keneged Shabbos, and they were also Keneged Torah. Why are you singling out Torah?
You can learn without doing. There's learning.
No, there's not only to learn to do. Push, not to learn. Yeshivas, they closed down yeshivas. Not only Batei Halacha. So, isn't La'aviyam Chukei Tzedakah the umbrella that includes all the mitzvahs?
No, it's the Maisa.
For sure it does. So why do you have to single it out?
No, but the Ha'aviram Yechukah Tzedakah to make people do what
Hashem, what? So people don't learn Torah. That's against what Hashem
it's
wants.
not the only thing that Kokorah wants us to do.
Okay, but whatever they did to us is included. La'aviyam Chukei Tzedakah. Did you spell out Shabbos?
Did you what?
Did you spell out Shabbos? Did you single out Milah? No. You said La'aviyam Chukei Tzedakah. How come it doesn't include Torah? Zah Sheila, the Rav Hutner asks in Pachat Yitzchak. you start with the prat and then you say a klal. Just say the klal. I heard a kishvaka boy. How can you say Chanukah Sameach? Usually you don't say Pesach Sameach. You say Yom Tov Sameach. Why Chanukah Sameach? So I say Sameach stands for Rosh Hashanah, Shabbos, Mila, Chodesh. So, right? I have Kaduri, this week was a tough week, I understand. It was a Simcha, Ani Mevin. Chanukah Sameach, we just said it now. I'm sorry?
The Nesivos Shalom
Yeah.
says that Sameach is
Those three? Oh, I heard. Thanks for telling me. So anyway, so that's Rav Hutner's kasha. Now I want to tell you, Rabbi, I have a special soft place for this kasha because I told Rav Hutner himself my answer, and Rav Hutner was very straightforward. I once told him about Torah and Chanukah, and he told me sheker v'chazav. I promise you. I remember the first Torah that I told him was on Chanukah. It was 8-9 kashas. I remember them, and one yisoid that answers everything. What was the yisoid? The yisoid is it's not only that we beat the Yavanim. Nah, that's pashut. But they didn't leave a scar against us. Nothing. The Torah didn't change at all. Everything's exactly the way it was. And like that, I answered all the 8-9 kashas. When I finished, he said, "Teda lacha, Habibi. לא רק שזה לא אמס, זה שקר וחוזב. המחלוקת הראשונה בחז"ל זה לא בגלל חושך של יוון? And then he quoted the Gemara in Chagiga, which I wasn't aware of Yossi ben Yezer, Yossi ben Yochanan, if there's smicha b'yom tov. וכל המחלוקת אחר כך שיש, and then he screamed at the top of his lungs, אוניברסיטת בר אילן, זה לא בגלל היוונים? That's what he said. וכל הטישטו שיש היום בעולם, זה לא בגלל החושך של יוון? איך אתה יכול להגיד שהיוונים לא עשו כלום? אבל אתה לא מביא ישיבס, ואתה חושב שהיכוס דייס וחייבס אלבובס, this area of Torah, זה הפקר, ואפשר להגיד מה שרוצים. ואני בטוח שאמרת את זה לראשי ישיבס שלך וכולם אמרו לך שכוייך. אבל אני אומר לך, בגלל שקוראים לך הרטמן, meaning my father, that there's a subject called French. You don't know French. צרפתית. there's היכוס דייס וחייבס אלבובס. אתה רוצה לדעת מה זה חנוכה? תלמד ner mitzvah. That's the first time he told me to learn Maral. It's sheker v'chazav. That's what he said. And then I tried to answer him, which I was told afterwards, you don't do that. Don't answer. You know, there's some people that just better not to answer. We all know it from our experiences. I said, name! I'm fighting back. The Torah didn't change by one letter. And then he went to throw me out. So, that Torah, what's the Lashonot? They want to say the Paus Melech Los Angeles? That's what he said, instead of Mitzrayim? You think they want to change the Torah? They don't want to change the Torah. Et hayachas l'Torah they want to change. U'wa'achem itzlichu. They had tremendous atzlacha. That we could treat Torah today like another subject. That's what they wanted to change. And they were extremely successful. The next Chanukah, I told him an answer on this kasha. I'm going to share with you soon. And he listened and exploded like a volcano. I promise you. Hafle v'fele, kemin choimer, yofet dorashta, sheina von gold, zog gibamol. Say it again. And the guy was a genius. He didn't have to hear it again. I said it again. Oh! And he mamish made you feel £1 billion. I promise you. My father also told me that when Rav Hutner would give a compliment, they didn't have to learn for 2 weeks. Because they felt so good about themselves. Let's take much wine. I'm going to share with you. But I just want to say he was very outspoken to both directions. When he didn't like something, he said it loud and clear. And when he did like something, he also said it loud and clear. So let's call that question number 3. Okay? Again, question number 1 is, what's the pshat that Chanukah and Birkas Kohanim are compensating for missing out on Chanukas Anisim? That's question number 1. Question number 2, I want to quit. If you so much want to join, you could have joined. No one stopped you. It wasn't a closed club. The ones who want to join, joined. Elamai, you had a chesed not to join. So what are you upset about? I'm sorry?
Decline is remorse.
Yeah? I don't know what, yeah, good.
It means you said no, and the sorry you said no.
Okay, we can't be disappointed in anyone. And then number 3 is, what is lashkicham torasech? Why is it choylek mokum la'atzmai? Just say la'aviram that they want us to transgress the ratzon of Hashem. That includes everything that Hashem wants us to do, and they said no. That will include everything. It includes Shabbos, it includes Chodesh, it includes Milah, it will include also B'tul Torah. As lama ze cholek makom la'atzmo. Okay, Rabbi Yisai, let's go on and see Baksei. This box I heard from Rav Goldwich Zatzal. Did you ever know Rav Goldwich? Rav Avram, Rabbi Yaakov Chaim. Rabbi Chaim Yaakov, the one from Kerbi Avne? You know him? He was larger than life, right? Also, personality larger than life. From him I learned this Medrash Tanchuma. I once gave him a lift, and he told me this Medrash Tanchuma. Let's read it. He was a guy in a lot of areas of Torah, but especially in Medrash, right? In Medrash. What does it say in Baksei? B'yom hashmini nasi l'bnei Menashe. Yilamdenu Rabbeinu, like Medrash Tanchuma starts. Ner Chanukah shotir b'Hashem b'yom rishon. If oil was left over on the first day, could you use that oil for the second day? Kach shono Rabbeinu, ner Chanukah shotir b'Hashem b'yom rishon, musif alav koshu madliko b'yom sheni. You had a little bit, and you could use it for the second day. V'im otir b'yom sheni, if it was left over on Monday, the second day, musif alav b'yom shlishi, umadliko. V'chem b'shar yomim. Aval hoyisir b'yom shmini, but if there was oil left on the 8th day, osel l'madura b'fnei atzmo, you gotta burn it. Lama kivan shehu k'tzal mitzvah, it was designated for a mitzvah, asur lishtamish mimeno. And Rabbi say, here I divided it to another paragraph. In the Medrash Tanchuma Hotzat Eshkol, it's the very same line. What does it say? Lo yoymar adam. A person should not say, Eini mekayim mitzvah skenim. I don't want to fulfill the mitzvahs of the rabbis. I'm going to listen to Torah. I don't want to listen to the rabbis. You know, in America it has a special ring. I don't want all these rabbi stuff. I'll do what's written in the Torah. That's what Hashem told Moses. But all what the rabbis added, they're people, I'm a person, I don't have to listen to the rabbis. Lo yomar adam. A person shouldn't say that. Eini mikayim mitzvah skeni. I'm not going to listen to the rabbi. So il veinam in Torah. Amar lam HaKadosh Baruch Hu bonai ein atem resheim lomar kach. You're not allowed to say that. Elo kol ma shegosrim alechem tiyu mikayimim. Whatever they decree upon you, you should mikayim. Shenema v'asis al pi Torah sherucha. Lama sha'af al divreim ani maskim. Because I agree to whatever they say. Shenema pasuk in Iyov v'tigza oimer v'yokom lach. Teideh lecha. Shari Yaakov, here Yaakov Avinu is in the capacity of a rabbi. B'sha'ah shiberech Menashe be'Ephraim, when he gave a bracha to Menashe and Ephraim, Maksiv Sham v'yasem es Ephraim b'fnei Menashe, he put Ephraim before Menashe, asa katan kodem lagadol, v'kiyem HaKadosh Baruch Hu gzer asay. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu was Mekayim. Hey Masai, when? V'kol Menashe Nesim. Shikriv Shevet Ephraim Tchila, shenemar b'yom hashvi'i nasi l'bnei Ephraim, so here Yaakov Avinu is in the capacity of a rabbi, and he said, Shikal Yodav, and he made Ephraim first, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu agreed. When do you say HaKadosh Baruch Hu agreed? HaKadosh Baruch Hu dictated the order, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu said Ephraim should be on the 7th day, and Menashe on the 8th day. Why does this have to do with Chanukah? You can say it's Chanukah's the Rabbanan? Purim is also the Rabbanan. Was before Chanukah. Look at this Medrash Tanchuma. It spoke about the halachas of Chanukah. What do you do with the oil that's left over? Ahina. And then, rabbis. With the rabbis. I don't want to listen to the rabbis. You can't say that. It's a Chanukah topic. Why? Because it's the Rabbanan? One of them it's the Rabbanan. Rabbi say, this same point you can also see from the Gemara in Shabbos.
But the Medrash is on Pasuk B'yom Hashmini.
Yeah, that's what the Medrash is on. Right. That's what it says in Mashikol Ba'inyan. Yeah.
So why is it in... It does match. It's not as if it's the only match, but it is a very appropriate match.
Okay. But there's still however why Chanukah has to do with the Yishmael Divrei Chachamim, right? Okay? Let's go on also in the Gemara. My Mevarech in Baksvav, Mevarach asher kedishon mitzvah mitzvah latgina shechanukah. And ask the Gemara a very, very basic question. Ve'echet tzivanu. How could you stand rabbinical mitzvahs with tzivanu? That Hashem commanded us? No, he didn't. Rav Aviyam Aminu Tosar. Rav Menachem Amar Shalom Bicha Ve'aged Chaskenech Ve'yom Mulach. Now, we're saying, here's a quote again that Rav Huda points out. This give and go that we just now had, this Shakla V'Taya, you could have on any mitzvah Rabbanan. But the editors of the Gemara, I guess Rav Ashi and Ravina, decide they have this Shakla V'Taya in their Chanukah. There were mitzvahs that preceded their Chanukah. Again, Mikra Megillah, Netilas Yadayim Shlomo HaMelech was mataken. The beginning of Bayis Rishon. Right? Nachon? You could have asked, what do you do on Netilas Yadayim? Which bracha do you make? V'tzibanu. Where's it say in the Torah to take a Netilas Yadayim? And you'll answer, Shalom Bicha Ve'aged Chaskenech Ve'yom Mulach. Why did the editors of the Gemara decide to leave this question and answer for Chanukah? I guess because it's also a Chanukah message. It's a Chanukah topic. Why?
Because all the other mitzvahs are like extensions of a deraisa. Netilas Yadayim because of Truma,
Megillah.
Megillah.
It's a new mitzvah.
Anything.
What? Arab. Yeah, there's a few. So what? So why do you say it over here? Okay, I'll say. So how many questions do we have meanwhile? 5. Let's go over it again. The Ramban that says that the Chanukah and Brikas Kohanim are going to appease Aaron HaKohen for missing on Chanukah's HaMizbeach. Question number 2, Aaron HaKohen, you could have joined, so what are you so upset about if you didn't join? Question number 3, why was it singled out? Question number 4, when as the Medrash Tanchuma mentioned the laws of what do you do with the Chanukah candle, the leftover oil, and then it says, without batting an eyelash, listen to the rabbis. And question number 5, it's similar. The Gemara in Shabbos, that the Shakla V'Taya, the Heichad Sivanu, was said L'gabi what? Chanukah. It's applicable to any mitzvah d'Rabbanan. But the editors of the Bavli kept it for Chanukah. Lama. Tatu Dubei?
After the Tekuf of the Levium.
What?
After the Tekuf of the Levium.
Okay.
So it's the biggest Kiddush.
You can say that. But where's it saying Netilas Yadayim? That was a katuv. Okay, but I hear. The boy says, but the last question, as you say, since our shir is called Maharal, I think when Rebbe Khan sends the email, he says the Maharal shir, right? I think, no, is it? Chumash Rashi Maharal. So we have to quote Maharal. And Rav Huda said, if you want to know what Chanukah is about, learn their mitzvah. That's what he said. So I think I have a good idea. Michal and Rav Kaduri should sit next to each other. Zeh Gevaldik. Zeh Gevaldik. So Rabbi said, this is Maharal, you know, Baruch Hashem. Rabbi said, maybe we're not, the Maharal goes through, in a very uncharacteristic way, he goes through Gematrias. It's not his shita, usually. He's not against Gematrias, Chas v'shalom, but it's not his Mahalach. He says, Heichel, what's the Gematria of Heichel? 65. What's the Gematria of Yavan? 66. The Yavanim could defile the Heichel, they have an edge, because it's 66 versus 65. It's a close game, but they win. So everything that was in the Heichel, they were Matama. But Heichel, you spell it with a Tzera. Tzera is called the Tenua Gdoila. And a Tenua Gdoila has in it a hidden Yud. Especially in the Ashkenazi Avar, you say Heichel, like another, which upgrades the Heichel with a hidden letter to 75, which is the Gematria of Kohen. That's the story of Chanukah. That's what the Maharal says.
Kohen is also the same.
That's true. That's true. That's what the Maharal says in this box, in box 9. What does these Gematrias mean, especially the first two? Heichel is 65, but there's a hidden unit in it, and it upgrades it to 75. So, boy, say, to answer both questions, let's see how the Ramban defines the essence of Greek philosophy. Give a look, Rabbi Say, in box Chet. Look what the Ramban said. This I heard from Moshe Shapiro Zatzal. This Ramban. It's a long Ramban over there about Tzir LaZazel. Very Kabbalistic. I would never learn it on my own, to be honest. But Ramosha quoted it. Ramosha Zatzal. Katav Hayivani. I'm sorry. says in brackets Rabbi Shavel Aristo, Asher ikrish kol davar zulati amurgash lo. He denied everything but the tangible. Ve'igis ta'ato lachshov hu v'talmidav ha'reshaim. He was conceited to think, he and his wicked disciples, ki kol inyan shelo yisigelam besvarato, whatever doesn't make sense to me, eneno emet. You hear the definition of the Ramban? They adored and appreciate what's tangible. Whatever is not tangible, it's not scientific. You can't prove it in a lab. So just disregard it. And the Ramban in another sefer, called B'Toras Shem Tmima, Kosam Ramban, V'kasher kamo Yevanim, V'hem Am Chadash, Shelo Nachalu HaChochma, Kama Isha Yadua, again referring to Aristotle, V'lo He'emin Rak B'Murgash. He believed only what's tangible. V'chipes Chochmot Murgashot. And he looked at wisdoms which are tangible. V'ikchish haruchaniyut. And he denied spirituality. Meaning, remember we started the share today with these two opposite statements? One says what you see is what you got. The other one says there's a lot more that meets the eye. The Yavanim are the ones that personify the attitude. What you see is what you got.
That's the only thing that's measurable.
That's measurable. Meaning, it's a human weakness that you're more impressed with what you see than what you don't see. But they made a shit out of it. What you don't see, disregard. It's not real. If it's not measurable, not proven by a laboratory, so forget it. It's a thesis.
What about all their gods they believed in?
They took so again, the Ramban says it. I guess apparently, whatever was tangible, like beauty, they made a god out of it. But it had to be something that first tangible. Power, whatever, and then they made a god out of it. Okay, I'm worried to get your side. The Greeks introduced to the world that whatever's tangible counts. Okay, Rabbi say. This will be a little bit, that says in the Medrash, give a look at the Medrash in Max Tet, וחושך זה גולוס יוון, שהחשיך עיניהם של ישראל בגזירוסיין, שהייתה אומרת להם, כיסבו על קרן השור, right on the ox of a horn, שאין להם חלק באלוקי ישראל. A horn of ox. A horn of an ox. Now, since when do you write things on the horn of an ox? Is that writing material? Don't you write it on a piece of paper? Why a horn of an ox? What? Okay. You know what the Maral says? In Bakshiyot? Al Ke'en Ashor Shalem Chalak B'Kei Yisrael Ki Amur Mitzat Yisrael Asu Ta'egel. It's a reference to Chet HaEgel. They're goring us, literally, with Chet HaEgel. Why did they pick Dafka Chet HaEgel? You told me now, in line of the Ramban. They're proving something from Chet HaEgel. Ein lechem chelik be'Elokei Yisrael. Why not Chet HaMeraglim? Why not another Chataim?
That was the time that Klal Yisrael had it.
I'm sorry?
That was the time that Klal Yisrael had at the time. They couldn't see Moshe. They didn't have...
Why did we do Chet HaEgel? We panicked. Why did we panic? No, Moshe Rabbeinu. You need something tangible. Moshe. So the Yavanim were saying, you see, you're like us. You can only connect to something tangible. 90 days after Yetzias Mitzrayim, you did Chet HaEgel. So you see that you cannot connect to a God who doesn't have a goof. Look, you did the Egel. Look.
So they didn't do Emunah.
I'm sorry?
The Greeks don't do Emunah.
Right. You need something tangible. Look at the Gemara. You know how the Gemara calls Chet HaEgel? Give a look at Baksit Aleph. אמרה לפניו כנסת ישראל לקדוש ברוך הוא, ריבונו של עולם, הואיל ואין שיקחה לפני כיסא כבודך, שמא לא תשכח לי מעשה העגל? Maybe, since you never forget anything, are you always going to remember Chet HaEgel? אמר לזו, הקדוש ברוך הוא answered, גם אלה תשכחנה, גם אלה מעשה העגל, שאמרו אלה אלוהיך ישראל. The word אלה represents Chet HaEgel. Anybody want to tell me why? Is it just being cute? גם אלה תשכחנה, אלה אלוהיך ישראל? So Eila was mentioned in both? Now the Gemara is saying Gavaldik. What does Eila mean in English? These. Ze in plural. Elohus harba ivulayim. Tangible. Chet HaEgel is defined by the word Eila. Here it is. Why Lashon Rabim? Rashi says Elohus harba ivulayim. The word Ze in plural is Eila. Nachon? So that defines one word, Chet HaEgel. So you need something tangible. So you're like us. I'll just say Roshim that you're something different. Ein lechem chelek be'elokei Yisrael. Elokei Yisrael, how can you connect to a God that you can't see? You can't touch. Ein lo guf, ein lo t'musa guf. How could you?
But, you know, the story of Yisrael doesn't end with a chitah.
But they're proving a point the Maral says. Since we did it right at the beginning, it shows that that's how we are as well.
But does that, from our point of view, is that the end of our story?
It's not, but it's definitely a big blemish on us. It's definitely a big blemish.
There was the Mishkan.
Yeah, no. You know what? We're gonna come to Rabbi Yomi to what you're saying. Let's go down to Baksud Bet and Baksud Gimel. Just one point. You know what I want to take from Baksud Bet? The Maral Derecham that it says that what's underlined. The Heichel and the Mishkan represents the whole world. The Heichel represents Olam Hazeh. The Kodesh HaKodashim represents Olam Haba. That's what he says. Right? Now, Olam Hazeh itself, you know what he says in Netz Yisrael, in Baksud Gimel? Olam Hazeh yesh bo shnei dvarim. Ki olam gashmi, kasher yadua, umitzad hazeh ein bo kedusha, umikol makom אי אפשר שלא יהיה העולם הזה בו מדרגה קדושה בדבר מה. You can't say it's not holy at all. שאין הדבר הזה כך כלל, כי העולם הזה בא מן השם יזבח, שהוא קודש. ומאחר שבא מאיתו יזבח, אי אפשר שלא יהיה לעולם הזה התייחסות אליו. Meaning, the olam hazeh is gashmi, and it's materialistic, and it's physical. But there has to be some kedusha element also. Because who did it? Who created olam hazeh? Hashem. If Hashem created something, it doesn't have some kedusha. So there's a hidden kedusha in olam hazeh as well. So when the Maral said that the word heichal is 65, but there's a hidden yud, what does he mean? That's the kedusha that this world has, that by the Yevanim it doesn't exist. It's hidden. It's coming from Kodesh HaKodashim, he said, the element of Olam Haba, which is also found in Olam Hazeh, meaning a divine existence, also in this world. Avraham Avinu discovered a Kodesh Baruch Hu from this world. Okay? So, man, I think we already have a shot a little bit in the Gematrius of the Maral. There's the world, which seems on the outside just physical, materialistic, but there's a hidden Kedusha there, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a hidden way. By the Kohen, it's not hidden because he goes in and out. Kodesh HaKadoshim goes in and out. The Heichel and Kodesh HaKadoshim, by him it's not only it's tangible. Okay? So let's take it now a step further. Where is the epitome that shows that we could connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? What shows the most that we could connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Let's be a little bit more specific. What do you mean, Torah? What shows that people in the Am Yisrael could connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? What shows it more than anything else? Torah Shebal Peh. Why, Rabbi Yisai? What does Torah Shebal Peh mean? When Moshe finally has to decide if he's going to make an Erev in Manhattan, yes or no. What's his question? So you learn the Sukkos and Erevin and the Shittas Rishonim Achronim. There's a question, right? Well, what's really his question? What does Hashem want? Rabbi Moshe finds out. I want to ask you a question. Are you a Navi? No. Are you a Ben Navi? No. How do you know what Hashem wants? Because I swallowed enough quantities and qualities of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's wisdom, and I know how he thinks. That's called Das Torah. When you could figure out how the other party thinks, that's the highest level of Achdus. Yamis. Also the husband and wife. Let's ask Rabbi Michal, who's an expert in everything in life. Rabbi Michal, right? When two parties understand how the other one thinks and feels, isn't that the epitome of Achdus? And nowadays, when they talk to each other and they understand each other, it's a major accomplishment. That's how it is today. But you understand how the other one thinks? That's Torah's well-being. But the Gemara says, Chacham adif minavi. Yeah, it's the Gemara in Bakstis Vav. Chacham adif minavi sheneva v'navi levav chachma. Mi nitla b'mi, hevayim al-kot nitla b'godol. A Chacham has an edge over a Navi. Says the Ramban, why? אף על פי שניתלה נבואת הנביאים שהוא אמר בחזון, נבואת החכם ושבדר חוכמה לא ניתלה, אלא יודעים האמס ברוח הקודש שבקרבם. You see this, Ramban? The Chachamim have also Ruach HaKodesh, but not from outside. That's a Navi. Rather, they figure it out on their own. The Kotzker Rebbe would say, I'm sure I mentioned him more than once. And remember, he's a Hasidic Rebbe, so take it with that a pinch of salt. The Hasidim are afraid of Hashem, and the Misnagdim are afraid of the Shulchan Aruch. That's what he said. And there's something to it. Like a Misnagdim, but the Mishnah says like this, but the Goyen says like this, and the Prima Godma says like that. And, But what are you really talking about? What does Hashem say? That's what it's about. Uh-huh. The Goyen understands Hashem this way. The Mishnah, okay, you're not going to say every time, the Mishnah understands Hashem this way. So you just say straight, the Mishnah. But the issue at stake is, what does Hashem want? So the Yevanim had a specific war against Torah Sheba'al Peh. Because they're fighting us by saying you cannot connect to a God who's not tangible. And the epitome of that connection is the ability to figure out HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Ratzon without even talking. You know the sound of silence? I'm honest, don't make yourself so from. You know the sound of silence? Simon and Garfunkel? Come on. The sound of silence. Rav Kadura, are you going to say you don't know it?
I don't know it, but it's too much noise for silence.
Rabbi, do you know it? Yeah. You do. Rabbi Michal, you know it? Rabbi Shlomo, you know it? No, okay. Rabbeinu, you know it? You do. Ari? Torah Sheba'al Peh, you know, we're Footner in Baks Yud Zayin, he gives Mamash a beautiful mashal for this. You know what's the difference between a Navi and a Chacham? If in a shir, whenever someone's giving a shir in public, from time to time he has to pause. He has to. He has a new thought. He's thinking how to introduce it in a more clear way. Suddenly he's hit by a kasha. It's inevitable. A good Talmud is a Talmud that understands all what the Rebbe says. A better Talmud is that he understands his shtika. I saw that by the Talmud of Reb Nachum. I remember I saw it. Reb Nachum would read a Rashi and pause. And then go on. He didn't say anything. And he paused. And I said, I know what bothered him. I know already how he thinks. I know what bothered him. A Navi is the one who understands HaKadosh Baruch Hu when HaKadosh Baruch Hu talks. The word Navi comes from the word Niv Sfasayim. But a Chacham, HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't talk. Silence. That is the advantage of the Chacham. I remember what did I ever tell you that, you remember there was a tape recorder, looked like a regular tape recorder, called voice activated? It went with a little button. You know what it does? When the teacher pauses, especially in lectures, sometimes he's looking at his paper, there could be a whole minute break. So, and then you think, did something happen to the cassette? So it doesn't record it. It only records when the lecturer speaks. So I remember I brought it over the first time to Moshe Priya's here on a Friday, and I was playing around with that button because I just bought it like a day before. So Moshe asked me, Mama, why are you playing with this today? I said, right next to him. I said, it's something new. Well, what's new about it? It's voice activated. He says, what does that mean? It only records the Rebbe when the Rebbe will talk. He says, so the silences won't be recorded? No. So the main part of the shir will be missing. That's what he told me. What a deep word. That's what Moshe told me. Anyway, a Chacham understands HaKadosh Baruch Hu's shtika. That's what Rav Hutner says in Baks Yud Zayin. This mashal. Rabbi said, therefore there's an inyan to bring out this koyach of Torah Sheba'al Peh, that the people down here who are mortal, born from a father and mother, have the ability to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Ratzon. That's one of the main messages of Hanukkah. And that's what the Yevonim were finding, specifically, about this kesher that we have with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Therefore, the Gemara asks on Chanukah, the Heichan Sivanu. The rabbis did it. How do you know he wants it? He does. The Medrash Tanchuma. What do you do with the oil that's left over? Okay. And then the next part. Don't say, I don't listen to the rabbis. I do listen to the rabbis. Because whatever they say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu agrees to. That's the Nakuda. This I told the Rav Hutner. I'm never going to forget it. It was definitely one of the highlights of my life. I was still a bacha then. I told the Rosh Yeshiva Zatzal, you know how come it says Lashkicham Torah Secha, it's singled out? Shikha is only Shach and Torah Shabal Peh. You can't have Shikha and Torah Shabal. It's written, open it the Sefer. And I got him a Ferish Gemara for that. Give a look at Maksud Ches. I got him a Ferish Gemara that Shikha is only in Torah Shabal Peh. Vayomer Elizar ben Pu'ira liyonei HaMelech. Yonei HaMelech, Hediot Sheb'Yisrael kach udinoi. Meaning, Ata Melech, v'Kohen Gadol kach udincha? Well, you can't allow this humiliation, what the Chachamim did to him. Uma eseh, Yim ata shomer la'atzati, if you want to listen to me, Ramsem, kill them. That's what Eliezer ben Porah told Yonei HaMelech. So Yonei HaMelech answered, V'Torah matei, what's going to be with Torah if I kill the Chachamim? Shema tishtokach. So he answered, Ari kruchu menachas b'keren zavis. Kol ha'rotzeh lilmod yovo v'yilmoid. V'lo yishtochel. It won't be forgotten. Says the Gemara, the mere fact that Yonei HaMelech agreed to that svara, Omar v'nacham Yitzchak miyad nizrah po apikosus, da'avel el-meimar, tenach Torah shebeksav, Torah shebal peh mai. Mefarish Gemara. There's only shikha Torah shebal peh. There's no shikha Torah shebeksav. And then I found it's a Mefarish Gemara. Then Rav Hutner, when I said this to Rav Hutner, they told me, yeah, Dvarim HaKsuvim ki Mesurim dami. It's like there. It's a Gemara in Eruvin he was quoting. Because I learned after Eruvin, and I remember, oh, that's what Rav Hutner quoted. On Eruvin, definitely Ches. He said, yeah, about it. Shikha is only in Torah Shabal Peh, not in Torah Shabal. So you know how come it says Lashkicham? So when it says Lashkicham Torah Secha, on which Torah are we talking about? That Shikha could be applicable. What? Torah Shabal Peh. So you know how come it's singled out? Because by the Yavanim it was singled out. Rabbi said, this I told before, I'll tell you. If I'm going to say the following sentence, which is pretty true, let's forget about it if it's accurate. The Nazis, Yemach Shemon v'Zichram, fought against Am Yisrael and the whole world. Let's say that's true. Someone will ask, why are you singling out the Jews? If you said they fought the whole world, the Jews are included. But it's not a kasha. They had a special war against Am Yisrael. Of course they fought also other ones. But they had a bezunder milchama against Knesset Yisrael. The most accurate description will be the Jews and the whole world. And if it's just going to just say the whole world and not single out the Jews, that would be a sheker. Because by them, there was a special war against Am Yisrael. And then against the rest of the world as well. Nachon? We agree on that. Similarly, by the Yavanim, they fought a few mitzvahs, but they had a special war against the Torah Peh. Because that's where it's personified and brought out the Archibot HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sheyodim Lechem and Adater Shemokom. So why is it called Lashkicham Torah Secha Lavim Chukei Tznecha? Because like why the Nazis in Machshvan, they fought against the Jews and fought the rest of the world. You can't just say the rest of the world. There was a special war against Am Yisrael. Similarly, there was a special war against Torah Shabal Peh. That's what I told him. Okay, that's another question. But they had a special war against this, against these Torah Shabal Peh. I don't know what I said. He has a whole mimer to answer this kasha. In Maimer Gimel Chanukah, he has a whole mimer. And I remember I was thinking for a moment. He took off his glasses. Sheinef in gold! Kemin Choymer! Yafed Arashta! I couldn't believe it. I got scared in the beginning. Because he was standing like screaming. I'm used to you screaming to me the opposite. Because the year before he said, so I got both sides. I remember it like yesterday. It Mamish made you feel Mamish. But I got a scammer from Rav Hutner on this one. I told him and he said he was masking. Mamish was masking. Rabbi say, Oy Bazay, if that's the Nakuda, I think we can answer now why Dafka. What bothered Aaron HaKohen? It was a Nadava. You wanted to join, you could have joined. You didn't join. And you have remorse on your, what's the word? Remorse on the last, remorse on your decision. What was the thing I said?
Decline his remorse.
I'll tell you what Aaron HaKohen was upset about. HaKadosh Baruch Hu agreed to do the same. And the Ramban Bakshir Tet says, let's just look at it. Look at the Ramban Bakshir Tet. והנה השם הנכבד הסכים על דעש הניסים וציווה נושא אחד ליום יקומנו ולפיכך ייתכן שהמליצו לדורס שיחנכו לעולם בית המקדש והמזבח ולכך עשה שלמה חנוכת המזבח and he quotes some psukim. The brackets here come out reverse, and they did it in Bayis Sheni. It's a pasuk in Ezra, and look what's underlined. V'nei tiyeh inyan zu mitzvah kinyan pashas tmeim bepesach upashas b'nei Yosef she'искima da'atam l'dat elyon v'nitztevenu b'medars. The Nisim got it right. It became a mitzvah. It's like what happened with Pesach Sheni and Bnei Slavchad. That's what killed Aaron HaKohen. I had a whole shtickle Torah not to join. I published a whole booklet. I'm not joining. I had 20 good reasons not to join. אבל מה קרה בסופו של דבר? They were mechavan l'dat Yishal Makom. And I wasn't. I wasn't mechavan l'dat Yishal Makom. That's what hurt him. Told him HaKadosh Baruch Hu, okay, Aaron, you missed it here, but there are going to be 2 other times that it's all about l'chavan l'dat Yishal Makom, and it will be your children. Chanukah, which is the holy of Koch Toish Malpeh, V'tzivanu. And what about Birkas Kohanim? Ari, Yeruch Hashem HaKohen. Give a look what Rashi says in Birkas Kohanim and Max Chof. V'samu et shmi yivachu m'shem muforish. V'ani avachem liYisrael v'askim im HaKohanim. Whatever they say, I'll agree with. Again, is we're mechamer l'dat Yishal Makom. So Ari, Mitzvah Hashem, when you're in Eretz Yisrael, you duchen every day, right, Ari? And you duchen here on Yom Tov. And Mitzvah Hashem, well, I'm going to be in Eretz Yisrael soon. You're going to get duchen every day, and you're going to say, and it says, "V'ani avachem." Whenever you give a bracha to Am Yisrael, because Baruch upstairs says, "I agree to what Ari's saying."
Where do you see that he was promised Birkas Kohanim by?
The Rambam pointed it out in Max Bet towards the end, the last line. V'chem Birkas HaKohanim smuch l'Knesiyim v'Nagilayim. He also persuaded. What's so special about these two? That even in Golus, you could have the ability to be connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. To the degree that you could mecham into what he wants. That is really a compensation for missing out on Chanukah's Anisim. It's not that, how's it called? FOMO, fear of being left out. What is it called again? FOMO. Fear of missing out. So that's what it sounds like. Aaron HaKohen had a FOMO. Hey, there, I wasn't there. That's not the shot. He was told about it in advance. He was a brisker. As a brisker, there's a lot of things to argue over there. Rashi says a few times in Parashat Nosa, Hoi Ras Shah. There were things we never did before. So he said, I'm not joining him. Fine. Totally understood. But he saw they were mechavan to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Ratzon. I was not mechavan to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Ratzon. That's what hurted Aaron HaKohen. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, throughout Golus, you're going to be the one that's going to mechavan to my Ratzon. Through Ner Chanukah, Chashmono Yovanov, and through Birkas Kohanim. So therefore, Rabbi say, if you really think about it, if someone will ask you, that's really the next page, which you won't have time to do, but you're all going to take this home with you. I'm not taking anything back. And you'll see Chanukah and Kahuna. Because, you see, what do we say about Skaf Aleph? Just let me show you. We make a point to say this happened through the Kohanim. Like if the way we understand regularly, why is it so important to say there were Kohanim? Is that really an important point? That you make Alidei Kohanecha Kadoshim? Well, according to the Ramban, absolutely. He was told 1,000 years in advance the Kohanim are going to do it. But there's more to it. There's more to it. Why Chanukah is Kahunadik, or why Kahunadik is Chanukah-dik. But anyway, Al Kopanim. So, what's the answer to the question? Which way? What is it? What you see is what you got, or there's a lot more than meets the eye. My answer is, Yavan say, what you see is what you got. And Yisrael say, there's a lot more than meets the eye. What you see is the tip of the iceberg. Be'emes. What? I told you already once what happened with Moshe Feinstein in that wedding. I'm not impressed with what I see. I mean, I'm impressed as long as it fits my values of Torah. But if it doesn't, I'm not going to say. And Rabbi said, maybe this we can finish. Thank you.